Our behavior is best explained by the primary identity we hold of ourselves. Today, we're going to talk about the ladder of inference as a tool to help us understand more about our primary identity and the way it shapes our view of the world around us. The ladder of inference is a tool developed by a social scientist from Harvard named Chris Argyris to explain how we translate data or information from our environment into our beliefs and actions. So to show how this process works, I'll use a well-known character from a popular movie, Napoleon Dynamite, named Rico. Rico lives his life driven by his primary identity as a football star. His view of his past and present is all guided by his belief that he is a football star who has been overlooked during high school. And this belief affects his behavior, his employment, where he lives, how he spends his time, and how he interprets the world around him. But how did he form these beliefs? The ladder helps us understand this question. Rico tells us that in high school, during the football season, he was not put into the game. This is a piece of data Rico focuses on or selects from his experience in his environment. So if you notice at the bottom of the ladder, our overall experience forms this data pool from which we place our attention or focus. There are other things, of course, for Rico to focus on in his environment, but Rico's identity as a football star leads him to focus on this data, that he wasn't put into a game. So from this data, Rico attributes meaning. He starts to ascend the ladder. He tells us that because he was not put into the game, the team did not take state. Because of his identity as a football star, Rico cannot see the other ways to interpret or apply meaning to the data he's focused on, such as he simply wasn't good enough. His identity as a football star keeps him blind to this reality. Instead, he only sees the missed opportunity of taking state. And this is important to understand about our primary identity. It blinds us to other possible meanings of the data upon which we focus our attention. So because of the meaning Rico attributes to not going in the game, he makes a host of downstream assumptions, and he starts to ascend the ladder. He assumes, for example, that because he didn't take state, he could not turn pro, nor make the millions of dollars as a pro quarterback. Those assumptions lead him to conclude, one, his problem is one of discovery. He simply hasn't been discovered yet. And this conclusion leads him to believe very deeply that once he is discovered, his life will change. So, in his spare time, he tells others about his plight, anyone who will listen, and help him get the word out. And he makes videos of himself throwing the football for scouts to see. Now, this is all comically presented to us, but it is closer to our reality than we might think. Our primary identities do the same thing to us, fencing us into a way of thinking and behaving consistent with the conclusions and assumptions and meaning we attribute to the data we focus on from our experience. It simply takes us up this ladder from our experience into our beliefs and into our actions. There is, of course, hope. Just as we ascend this ladder in our minds, we can descend the ladder, but it will require us to first identify the identities that govern our thoughts and actions. And then, from there, the beliefs, conclusions, and assumptions we've formed about those identities. Identifying what we get from them and keep us at the top of our ladders. Changing our behavior means first changing the meaning we attribute to the data we choose to focus on, aligned with our primary identities. That takes real work. But using the child of God identity with the beliefs, values, and behaviors exemplified by Jesus Christ as a standard for comparison, we can begin to realize areas of our lives that need to change or adjust to more fully and completely draw unto Him.